The camera slowly pans across a mansion glowing in the night. A young, shivering girl stands at the massive gate, her hands trembling as she knocks. The door opens, revealing a man in a suit, cold, distant, powerful. But the moment his eyes meet hers, he freezes. His world stops. And what he says next will leave you speechless. Rain poured mercilessly over the city, washing away the footprints of those who had somewhere to go, and leaving behind those who didn't. Among the forgotten souls wandering the empty streets was a girl no older than 16, her clothes damp and her hands blue from cold. Her name was Lila. She hadn't eaten for 2 days. Every restaurant, every shop she went to turned her away, some with pity, others with disgust. She carried nothing but an old photograph of her mother and a plastic bag holding a small blanket. As she passed through the wealthy district, her eyes caught the sight of a mansion unlike any other, lights warm, windows shining, laughter echoing faintly from inside. For a moment, she stood frozen on the sidewalk, staring through the golden gates as if looking into another world. Her stomach growled. Taking a deep breath, she gathered her courage and walked toward the gate. She pressed the intercom button with trembling fingers and said softly, "Please. I don't want money. Can I clean your house for a plate of food?" The voice on the speaker didn't answer. The rain got louder. She was about to turn away when the gate suddenly creaked open. Lila hesitated, then stepped inside. Inside the mansion, Michael Rowan, a self-made millionaire, was reviewing business reports on his tablet. A man known for his precision and power, he never let emotions guide his decisions. But that night, when his butler mentioned there was a homeless girl asking to clean for food, something stirred inside him, something long buried. "Let her in," he said quietly when the door opened and he saw her, drenched, thin, eyes hollow but full of life. His face turned pale. The world around him blurred, because standing there wasn't just a stranger. She looked exactly like someone he had lost many years ago. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice shaking. "Lila," she replied softly. Michael froze. His heart dropped. That was the name of his sister, the sister who had disappeared 15 years ago when their parents' car crashed and only one child was found alive. Could it be? He didn't say a word, only nodded and told the housekeeper to give her food and dry clothes. From his office window, he watched her eat slowly, her hands trembling, tears of relief running down her cheeks. Something inside him shattered that night. He couldn't sleep. The memory of his lost sister, the accident, the guilt, everything came rushing back. And the image of this girl, her eyes, her voice, they haunted him. On the next morning, Lila woke up in a soft bed for the first time in years. She whispered a silent thank you before sneaking out to start cleaning. She didn't want to take advantage of anyone's kindness. She polished the glass tables, arranged the books, and swept the hall with quiet determination. Every corner she cleaned carried her silent gratitude. Michael found her scrubbing the kitchen floor, her hair tied back with a piece of cloth. He stood there for a long moment, unable to move. She reminded him not only of his sister, but of the innocence he'd lost chasing wealth. "Why are you doing this?" he asked finally. Lila looked up, surprised. "Because, when you have nothing, working is the only way to feel alive." That answer broke him completely. He asked her to sit and tell her story. She hesitated but finally spoke. She had grown up in foster homes, running away from one abusive place to another. She never knew her parents, only the name written on the back of a torn photograph, Rowan family. Michael's hands trembled. He took out his old family photo album, flipping through it until he found a picture, a little girl with the same eyes, the same smile. It was her. His lost sister. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, "Lila, it's me. It's your brother, Michael." The room went silent. She stared at him, disbelief written across her face. She pulled out the faded photo from her bag, and there, in that photo, was a younger version of him holding her hand. She gasped, dropping the picture, then collapsed into his arms. Both cried, years of pain, hunger, loneliness, and guilt melting away. Michael realized that all his wealth, his power, his luxury, none of it had meaning compared to this moment. He promised her that day she'd never go hungry again, never sleep on the streets, and never feel unloved. Months passed. The mansion, once filled with silence, now echoed with laughter. Lila joined school again, and Michael started a charity foundation to feed and shelter homeless youth, all in her name. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lila looked at him and said, "You saved me." He smiled gently. "No," he replied, "you saved me."